Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the League of Europe Formula 1 YouTube channel for round 6 of the Division 3 season. My name is Aidan Carter, otherwise known as Carmentalus. I will be taking you through proceedings as always, and as always, joining me in the commentary box today is IRO Dylan. Dylan, how are you doing, mate?
I'm doing great. How are you, Aidan?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you. Obviously, coming into round 6 of the season, we're getting into this is now really where the championship really starts to heat up, isn't it? Because we've had the first 5 rounds for people to really find out where they are in terms of the pecking order, and then from here on onwards is really the push for the championship. And obviously we come into Azerbaijan, the Baku street circuit, which is a vastly different circuit to all the ones we've had so far. It's going to be a really interesting race today, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm quite excited actually because Baku is an incredibly difficult track. It is easy to overtake relative to most of the other tracks we raced this season, but the walls are so close to the track, so it's very easy to make a mistake here and lose your front wing. It's going to be very interesting to see how people manage that during the race.
Definitely, and one of the biggest talking points of this track is that middle sector and that castle section. So this track, while the pit straight is very, very wide and very easy to overtake on, other parts of the lap are very, very narrow, so being able to keep it out of the wall is going to be a task in itself here. Before we get going though for qualifying today, we're just going to run you through the standings so far this season coming into round 6 of the championship. So Jorno still leads the championship at the moment. He was off the podium in the Netherlands but back on the podium in Spain last time out. He finished second, so he continues to lead the way. He has a 20-point advantage now over J. Cole in second place. Caesar is in third ahead of Mark in fourth. B. Morgan fifth. Eduk is in sixth. Legend up to 7th after his first outing last time out and a win. He's unfortunately not here today though to try and repeat that result. YHYY is 8th ahead of TDB in 9th, and Paul rounds off the top 10 in the second Red Bull. And at the moment, Jorno definitely favourite to win the championship, surely at this point.
Yeah, I definitely agree. He has been on the podium every race except Zandvoort, and in all those races he had he had to encounter a few punches, and he handled it quite well actually, because he's been making a lot of comebacks this season. So I'm actually quite excited to see him maybe do a perfect race for once and just win the race. But it always keeps it interesting for us. And yeah, he's definitely the deserving championship leader right now. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how he can manage the streets of Baku.
Definitely, and obviously with Hardy being moved up into Division 2, that obviously takes a little bit of the pressure off of Jorno, because obviously while Jorno has done very well in the races so far, qualifying's not really been a strong suit of his, has it? He's not really featured at the front of the grid so far.
Yeah, because his race pace is just insane compared to his qualifying pace. He usually qualifies top 5 or just outside the top 5, and then in the race he's just incredibly dominant, not picking up any penalties, and keeping the race clean and keeping away from certain incidents, and that has really helped him so far this season.
Yeah, it really has helped him out. Just before we get ready for qualifying, with about 30 seconds to go before qualifying gets underway, we have a new driver here in the Haas today. We're just going to call him Ollie because we're not particularly sure how to pronounce his full name yet, because it is a bit of a tongue twister. So we're going to call him Ollie. He's replacing, I believe he was replacing Tun for this event, if I am correct. Yeah, he is replacing Tun for today's race, so he's our reserve driver for today. But another thing we were talking about just going before we get into qualifying is tyre heating around this track. Obviously, a lot of the tracks we've seen so far this season, it's been difficult to manage the front tyre temperatures and get them to a working range because they would overheat. But this track is almost the exact opposite, isn't it?
Yeah, the tyres barely heat up around this track, which is quite interesting, because with those tyres not being up to optimum temperature, it's quite easy to slide around, and just a little mistake can get you in the wall. And yeah, it's very, very crucial to basically keep your car on the track. And yeah, tire overheating or tire heating in general is a big issue around here, especially on the hard tires. They will struggle with 1 or 2 laps before they actually get to a decent temperature for the race.
Yeah, and obviously looking at the strategy today, strategy is most likely to be a soft hard, if that is a one-stop strategy, as it has been for the majority of the season so far. A one-stop is the fastest route around this circuit, and the soft hard, obviously with the hard tyres taking a few laps to warm up, the undercut might not be the strongest strategy around here. It might be worth staying out a few laps longer on the soft tyres and maybe trying to go on the hard tyres a little bit later.
Yeah, but especially those hard tires are extremely consistent, though, even though they might feel a little bit understeery and all over the place sometimes. They are still incredibly consistent, and I think over the course of the race, when fuel goes down, they do become faster the more laps you run on them. But yeah, it's going to be incredibly interesting to see, especially those first 2 laps on the hard tyres. Those are extremely tricky, and if you can manage to keep your car on the island, it's going to be should be a good race for you.
Yeah, I have to wait and see whether people can keep it out of the walls on the hard tyres at the start of the stint. Legend has joined the lobby, so hopefully he can get in. Obviously, because of new rulings and issues with Codemasters Gaming at the games at the moment, we don't allow people to qualify once they've joined the lobby because of frame rate issues. So Legend will be at the back of the grid unless he inadvertently goes out onto the track and does a qualifying time. So we'll have to wait and see. But at least he's in the lobby to try and repeat his performance from a week ago. And it's fair to say that last time out, Legend was pretty dominant, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was extremely fast around Spain, and he had a lot of pressure of Edok behind, and yeah, he got the win, and eventually with a late safety car, he cruised to a victory, and pretty good race win from him. And yeah, happy to see him join this session, even though he won't be able to set a qualifying lap time around Baku. Anything is possible, as we've seen multiple times, even in real life and in league racing. This is going to be incredibly interesting to see how he can do it, because he might be one of the faster guys in D3, so it's going to be incredibly exciting to see how he does it as Danny Boy spins on his outlap.
Yeah, he hit the wall I think at turn 4 coming out of the corner. He hadn't picked up a lot of damage, but he's now spun and hit the wall coming out of the castle section. And I've just noticed as well, it's very overcast, so I'm wondering whether people on their outlaps are even struggling to get the soft tyres up to temperature, because obviously with the cooler track conditions, that's going to make it even harder to manage those soft tyres.
Yeah, exactly. Those soft tyres, you have to really warm them up during your outlap, and probably even during your quali lap. They might still underheat a little bit and give you a little bit of understeer. These overcast conditions will make it extra tricky for the drivers to perform their qualifying lap.
Yeah,
Stoll was the first one to set a lap time, now down into turn 1. Nice exit off of turn 1. You really don't want to touch the inside curb on turn 2. Doesn't so. Oh, a lot of oversteer. And that probably has to avoid his lap time, but he keeps going. But that's a lot of oversteer. Tricky traction zone there, and yeah, tire underheating seems to be an issue already in qualifying.
Yeah, struggling on again coming out of turn 3, just can't get the power down. He's really struggling to warm those rear tyres up. This is a rear tyre limited circuit. It's not really a lot of wear on the front tyres around here, because a lot of the corners are very short and a lot of them are quite slow, so they don't wear the front tyres out. It's the rear tyre limited circuit, so even a slide like that could kill your soft tyres before your run really gets going. Even into the castle section, look how much he is sliding the car through turn 7 into turn 8, keeps it nice and neat. He's going to continue on the lap, so we'll stay on board with him by the time before he comes to the end of his lap as well. I think Mark will be the next person to finish a lap behind him in the Renault. Coming through to the end of the second sector now then is Thor. Thor looking, it's probably, pole position today, probably going to be in the 37, so I have to wait and see what people can do. He jumps over that curb there on the inside of the corner. Again, struggles on traction coming out, and now into the last real corner on the circuit here. The last one that you really have to think about. Nice and neat coming out of there, gets a good run onto the, I believe, 2-kilometre long pit straight now. It's such a long straight, such an easy overtaking opportunity here. So easy, in fact, that a lot of people could make double overtakes here. It's such a long run down here. Slipstream is very powerful, and overtake as well. Thor's going to come up to the line. Let's see what the first proper lap time in qualifying is going to be. It is a 39.6. I imagine we'll see people go a lot faster than that in this session. Speaking of, Mark is going to be the next person to cross the line, and he does a 39.0. So still not a lot faster than Thor, considering Thor's mistakes on that lap.
Yeah, that's quite surprising. I imagine Mark made some mistakes as well, as P. Morgan does 39.2, and Damon the 39.9. Very interesting to see. I expected to see the first lap times be around mid or low 38s, but we're seeing low 39s, which is quite surprising to say the least. And I imagine a lot of drivers will improve as Edog does the 38.8, setting the mark early. And the next one to cross the line.
That was Ollie, I believe, in the Haas that's just crossed the line. He's gone into 4th place just behind his Haas teammate B. Morgan, currently running 3rd and 4th at the moment. One of the Red Bulls has just dived into the pit lane, and Yorno is coming around to start a run for him. So I believe that is Legend that has just gone into the pits. No, that would have been, yeah, that's Paul that's gone into the pits. So Legend is actually completing a qualifying lap here, and he does not set a time, I don't think, unless he's just started his run. He hasn't set a time though, so Legend currently still down in 16th with no time on the board. YHYY in the Ferrari meanwhile has done a 40 flat in 7th place. Eduk currently pole position in the other Ferrari, a 38.8, but quite a ways off the ultimate pace of this track.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of room for improvement as the track conditions seem to look a little bit better, as it was overcast before. It looks like it's light cloud as of right now, but Legend going out on a flying lap, I don't think that's allowed, to be honest, because due to a few glitches, if he actually sets a lap time, that could ruin the lobby, and we might have to do a lobby restart.
Yeah, fingers crossed that isn't the case as XL Bree in the second Renault, he goes to the front of the field. That's a good lap from him. We haven't really seen much of Bree so far this season. It's been a bit of an understated start, but he jumps up to the front of the field. TDB was on a lap, but he's invalidated, and it didn't look that competitive anyway. Yorno's invalidated his first run, so we'll run on board with Maurice as Pease goes to the top of the field now in the Mercedes on a 38.7, just half a tenth clear of Bree though at the front of the field. We've come used really to seeing that from Pease. Pease has been I believe in the top 3 in qualifying in all of the last 3 rounds we've been to, so he's done a really good job since he got promoted from D2. We'll keep riding on board with Maurice. We know that Maurice took pole position last time out. He had the raw pace to maybe battle Legend, but a bit of a compromise strategy in the end cost Maurice a chance at race victory last time out. Let's see what he's like coming to the end of the sector as Legend has retired from the session. I think that's on track if I'm not mistaken. I think he's retired the car on the road. He has. So Legend's retired the car coming out of this corner that we're just going through now on board with Maurice. This is looking like a good lap for Maurice actually. A 14.1 by the end of the second sector is very competitive. So let's see what Maurice's time is. Can he be the first man maybe into the 37s? That's a tall order. But we'll have to wait and see whether he can do as he comes down to the line. What's his straight line speed looking like? Currently running at about 202 before the DRS opens. Want to be around 210 to get really good straight line speed. He just tops out at 209 and it is a 38.1, 6/10 of a second clear of his teammate at the front of the field. Good start to the session for Maurice.
Yeah, a really good session, and that's a decent banker to start off his qualifying runs. And yeah, he's 6/10 clear of his Mercedes teammate as of right now. So that's really good from Eloy Maurice. And yeah, of course, he got pole position last week out in Spain, and in qualifying wise, he was definitely the fastest driver, but over the course of the race, we saw that Legend and Edoc were reeling him lap by lap during the race. So it's going to be interesting to see if Maurice has improved on his race pace a little bit, and maybe secure a race win here today. Especially if he continues to show his qualifying pace and matches his race pace.
Just on board with. Sorry to jump in there, just on board with Danny Boy. He crossed the line in 8th place and has spun the car coming out of turn 1, has hit the wall. So he's out of the session from 8th on the grid, so he won't be improving on that spot. That is a shame for the Racing Point man. He won't be able to get any higher than 8th on the grid. Jacob, meanwhile, in the other Racing Point, has gone now 10th on a 39.5 on a set of mediums. Who was that just jumped up the field? It was Caesar. So he's currently running 3rd in the standings. He's up to 5th place in the AlphaTauri, doing a good job so far this season. He hasn't had the best of runs in the last 2 rounds of the championship, but before that had a lot of podiums, really. Had a really good start to the season. Let's have a look at who else is on a lap at the moment. I believe Jay Luke might be on a lap. Jay Luke may be looking for a slipstream from his teammate here. He's going to be looking for a slipstream from TDB, who was just on an out lap. So have to wait and see whether this works for Jay Luke. He's tucked right up behind, so even if he does want a slipstream, it's not really going to be that powerful because it's going to be up and past him before we get really to the straight. So here comes Jay Luke down towards the start finish line. It's going to come down. Jay Luke's really struggled so far this season. Let's see where he can put his Williams. He's going to cross the line, and it goes P6 on a 38.9. So not a bad start to the session for Jay Luke, and he goes straight on at turn 1 to allow his teammate through. He ends up hitting the wall. He went so deep into turn 1, but he allows his teammate through up into 6th place. Not bad for Jay Luke.
No, that's a decent lap time, of course, and with the help of a little bit of slipstream, not the best slipstream we're probably going to see this session, but that's a decent slipstream and gain him maybe a tenth or so on his lap. So P6 as of right now, which is pretty decent, I'd say, for him.
As Paul, meanwhile, Paul jumps to the top of the field in the other Red Bull, so he goes on a 38.1, half a tenth of a second clear of Maurice. Good lap from Paul. He qualified well in Australia first time out, but since then we haven't really seen much of Paul. But that is a really strong lap time to go right to the front of the field.
Yeah, and that's very exciting to see, because if Maurice has been setting some blistering lap times, I believe, in time trial over the course of the week, and if he can match Maurice in qualifying, that is something incredibly interesting to see, and definitely in the race, where yeah, it'll be very exciting to see those two maybe battle it out for a race win.
Yeah, TDB meanwhile, he has spun at the top of the castle section, very similar to Danny Boy, and has broken his front wing, so he won't be setting a lap time on those mediums. Harry Noir is currently running through the first sector, but he's got quite a bit of traffic in front of him. He's got both Ferraris in front of him on the road, and both of them are doing lap times. So Harry's started his lap time right in behind the Ferraris, maybe hoping to keep close enough to them to get a slipstream down towards the start-finish line, because obviously it is such a long run down into turn 1 here. He goes through the castle section. He did a 34.8 first sector, which isn't too bad. It's pretty competitive actually, but you can already see he's just struggling with understeer in the middle of the part of the lap, stuck behind one of the Ferraris. I'll have to work out which Ferrari it is. It is Eduk, I believe, is the car directly in front of him. But here comes the Ferraris then and Harry Noir to the line. We'll have to wait and see if this strategy works for him, and it does look like that YY is going to be getting a tow himself as well from the other Ferrari, so we'll have to wait and see when we come down to turn 1 around the final corner. Harry Noir invalidates the time on the exit of the corner though, so this lap time isn't going to count, and he's already backed out of it, so we're right on board with the Ferrari of YY as he comes up to the line. Where can he put his Ferrari? Currently 15th on a 40 flat. He needs to improve on that. Let's see where he goes up to the line. Comes the Ferrari man in, he's going to cross the line, and it is a 39.2. He goes P11. Eduk 4th on a 38.4. Meanwhile, during all of that, Thor has gone on to pole position by less than 200ths of a second in the McLaren.
We're incredibly close with the top 3 right now. It doesn't look like they're in a group of their own in qualifying right now, and it's starting to heat up a little bit. Drivers are keep improving their lap times, and it's going to be interesting to see, as most of the drivers will probably start their final runs in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, Jorno coming up to the line then to set his first valid time in the session. Let's see where he puts his McLaren. It's a 37.7, so he goes 0.4 of a second clear of the rest of the field at the front ahead of his McLaren teammate. We said that the top 3 were ways ahead of the rest of the field. Jorno's come in and just smashed a lot of them.
That is an incredible lap time from Jorno as our championship leader. Is McLaren 1-2 as of right now in qualifying. That is a brilliant lap time from our championship leader.
Yeah, we've got one of the Renaults coming up to the line. Is that Brie? That is Brie. That Brie's just gone up into 5th place on a 38.3, so a good improvement from him. He's doing a very good job so far. This has definitely been his most competitive session, as Pease now jumps up into 4th place in the second Mercedes. He goes 0.04 of a second ahead of Maurice into 4th. So Mercedes currently running 4th and 5th. Good qualifying from them. Marcus crossed the line to start his next one in qualifying. Thor's just diving into the pit lane in the McLaren. He actually hits the pit wall coming in there. He was so committed to the pit entry line. We've got the Haas cars coming up to the line. That was Ollie that's just crossed the line. He goes 12th on a 39.0, so that doesn't quite put him into the top 10. I wonder if Harry Noir is going again. It looks like he is, and he is going to get a little bit of a slipstream from the Ferrari in front. Let's see if this pays off for him. He's going to continue on to the lap. He's going to come up and cross the line, and he goes 9th with that. So a good lap time despite being on his second lap on the soft tyres, but he's going to want to try and improve on that and have a fresher set of soft tyres for the start of the race, surely.
Yeah, those soft tyres, once they hit 60%, I believe, they are they don't have any grip whatsoever. They start sliding around everywhere. So you really want the freshest tyres possible. So ideally, you want to do your personal best in the last second of the session, just so you have that extra percent or 2 by not doing an in-lap. And it's going to be crucial for him to maybe get a better lap time in, or start outside the top 10 and just get a new fresh exhaust.
Yeah, we're going to go on board with Maurice. He's on a lap. Jorno kind of dawdling in the middle of the road there, but he's just coming into the pit lane. Maurice comes up to the line. Where does he go? 37.8. He goes 2nd now, so good improvement from him. He goes up onto the front row. I was just about to say before that 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th are separated by less than a 10th of a second, but Maurice has come in and broken that for me. He goes on to pole position. He goes on to 2nd place on the grid, behind pole position by just under a 10th of a second. Again, another good lap for Maurice. As we look further down the field, who else is going to be on a lap at the moment? I think we've got Damon in the Alpha Tauri on a lap. We'll ride on board with him, see how he's doing. He currently running in 17th place. He's not had the best of qualifying so far, and it is a 34.8 in the first sector. Not too bad, a pretty competitive first sector from the Alpha Tauri man. Let's see whether he can go into the top 10 with this time. Coming through the middle part of the lap now, coming up towards Castle. So easy to get this wrong. Through turn 8, takes a nice about of curve on the inside. Runs a bit close to the wall, but just about gets away with it. Now through Castle. A little bit cautious through there. Obviously didn't want to hit the wall, didn't carry a lot of speed. Now up to the top of the track over this kind of kink straight, really. 2 kinks in this straight as we come into one of the trickiest corners on the track to get right. This next left-hander, so easy to outbrake yourself and hit the wall on the outside. Damon very late on the brakes, hits the curb on the inside, but keeps it well out the wall on the outside. It's now coming into the final proper corner on the lap, and it's 1:14.8 by the end of the second sector. He's 9/10 of a second up on his personal best, so this is definitely a good improvement. How is his final sector though? Can he get right to the front of the field? This is going to be right on the bubble of the top 10, I think. It's going to be a long run down then to the down to the pit straight. Let's see what his time is. See what straight line speed he has as well. He's got a lot of ERS left. He's not used obviously a lot throughout the lap as he comes up to the line about 210 miles an hour. It's a 38.9 from Damon. He goes exactly P10 by 1,000th of a second over his AlphaTauri teammate.
Really close between those two drivers, and it might be a good strategy for Caesar to maybe not improve on his lap time and start on P11, get those fresh softs maybe, or start on the medium tires and take those a little bit further into the race. And it's going to be very interesting as Damon actually runs wide and nearly hinders Caesar on his lap down into turn 2.
Meanwhile, J. Luke comes into the pit lane having invalidated another run, and he won't get back out onto the track in time, so he's not going to improve on 12th place. TDB in behind him is just starting his run. Caesar will ride on board with him. He's not actually, will look further up the field. Who else is going to be on a lap in front of him on the track? I think maybe one of the Alfa Romeos might be on a lap. That would be Stumpy, so we'll ride with Stumpy and see what he's doing. He's not set a valid time yet in this session. Currently running in 18th. He's had a bit of a struggle so far this season. He's had flashes of pace, and a 14.3 by the end of the second sector is very competitive, so let's see what he can do by the time he gets to the line. What's his straight line speed like? Is it going to cost him down towards the line? This could put him maybe close to the top 5 battle here. Let's wait and see what this is going to be from the Alfa Romeo man. Looking in further behind, who else would be on a lap? We've got one of the racing points coming up. That is probably that will be J. Cole. He's going to be coming up to finish a lap himself as well. Here comes Stumpy to the line, and it's a 38.2, goes P6. Good lap from the Alfa Romeo man as we go down to J. Cole. Where does he qualify in the racing point? Currently 18th, second in the championship, needs to improve, and he improves but only to 10th place. Not very competitive from J. Cole, while his championship rival is currently on pole position. Yeah,
that's a crucial lap, crucial from J. Cole to actually get a good lap time, and he just about didn't. And that's very interesting because he has a 20-point deficit to Jorno, but Jorno is starting on pole around one of the more one of those tracks where you really want to start either the front row or the back row to avoid the carnage in the midfield. And this is not a good qualifying place for J. Cole as of right now, especially if he wants to win the championship. As Toll doesn't improve on his lap time, unfortunately, he won't improve, or he's going on another lap. My bad. And
going on another lap. He's committed to another run. TDB crosses the line. He's only 17th. That's not what we're used to seeing from TDB. We're used to seeing him right at the front of the field, but he's clearly struggling for pace around here. Stuck in 17th place, not able to improve. Caesar improved, but only to 10th, so he couldn't really break into that battle up in front. We'll have a look and see who else is on a lap at the moment. Jorno's coming around to start his final run in qualifying. We've got one of the Mercedes coming up to the line. That is Maurice, but he's not going to be able to get to the line in time, so he's not going to be able to set another lap time in qualifying. So Maurice has already missed out on a shot at pole position with this. As to have a look further down the field, we've got Paul coming up to the line in the Red Bull. He's 2.5 tenths up on his personal best, so this could challenge the front row. Maurice missing out on qualifying is going to really cost him. It could cost him a shot at the front row here. Where does Paul factor into this in the Red Bull? It's definitely been his strongest quality of the season. Where does he go? He's currently 4th. He's going to cross the line, and it's going to be a 37.7. He goes onto the front row alongside Jorno, half a tenth off in the end, but again, another good lap from Paul. Was further in behind. We have something coming up to the line. I think that was one of the Ferraris. That's why he goes ahead of his teammate and up into 8th place, but again, good lap from Paul up into 2nd.
And Bree now up into 6th place, and I think one of the Haas is about to finish lap. B. Morgan, he's up by a couple of tenths out of the second sector, and he has put his ERS down. I think he wants to start P11 maybe. That might be a good strategy for him. And one of the Mercedes is trying to finish the lap. It's Edog, but he invalidated somewhere in the earlier part of the lap and has to go into the pits. Mark, next across the line. He is an 8-10 improvement. He does a 38.1, goes up to P5.
Wow.
Good final lap from Mark, putting himself at P5 as of right now.
Pease couldn't improve. Meanwhile, P's up into 6th. He can improve on P6, so P's not right at the front of the field this time round. We've got Harry Noir coming to the line. Can he maybe knock... Can he gain places? No, he can't. He didn't improve on his time in the end. He obviously backed off, so he's only 14th on the grid. That looks like everyone's lap done in qualifying. Yorno did improve on his final run, but only by about half the 10th of a second, so it didn't really matter in the end, though. He still would have had pole position. Yorno takes pole, and I believe that's his first pole of the season.
Yes, I think that is the case. I think around Australia, Hardy literally took it in the last second away from him. But this is his first pole position. It's an all-Dutch top 3.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from the Dutch drivers. Then it's Yorno on pole position with a 37.7 ahead of Paul and Maurice, 2nd and 3rd. Thorl in 4th in the second McLaren. Good result from him. Ahead of Mark, Pease, Breeze, Stumpy, White, Hawaii, and Eduk round off the top 10. B. Morgan, Caesar, J. Cole, Harry Nawag, Ollie, Damon, J. Luke, TDB, Danny Boy, and Legend finish off the 20 drivers we have here. And again, just like last time out, a lot of big names outside the top 10, including B. Morgan, Caesar, and J. Cole.
That is very interesting to hear, and it might actually be a wet race. I might have seen that somewhere in the D3 chat, but I've been lied to. Oh my god, it's fully
falling for it.
Clear.
Yeah, it looks fully clear. We might have some rain maybe later on in the race. We'll have to wait and see. But you might have just been played there. They might have fooled you with that one. But we'll have to wait and see whether there you go, whether that does play a part in the race later on. But from the start, it is going to be dry, so everyone inside the top 10 will be starting on the set of soft tyres they qualified on. We'll have to wait and see what the drivers outside the top 10 go for, because obviously the hard tyres take a while to warm up, and around here having cold tyres in the early laps is going to be a real struggle. Maybe it might be a safer bet going for the mediums.
Yeah, especially those medium tyres, they're a lot more consistent than those soft tyres, but with the tyre heating issues you have around this track, getting those mediums to the right temperature is going to take you, again, same as the hards, 1 or 2 laps. And during those 1 or 2 laps, those tyres are nearly undrivable. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what everyone's going to go on outside the top 10. As we have a look right now, and most of the drivers starting on medium tyres.
Yeah, a lot of them go for medium. So B. Morgan's gone for medium. Caesar's gone for softs in 12th place. So he's gone for something a little bit different. J. Cole, Harry Noag, and Ollie have all gone for the hards. Damon, J. Luke, TDB all for the mediums. Danny Boy in 19th on the softs, and Legend in 20th on the medium tyres. So a real split of strategies. And the one definitely to look out for at the start is Danny Boy. As I say that, Danny Boy's hit the wall again coming out of turn 2, even on the formation lap. But he's going to be the one to look out for on those soft tyres in 19th place, looking to make places early.
Yeah, those soft tyres will be way faster than the hard and medium tyres ahead of him, so it's going to be crucial for him to navigate his way through those hard and medium runners ahead of him. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting seeing the race, because Pete Morgan is starting in P11 on the medium tyres. If he can pull out or keep inside the DRS of the Ferraris ahead of him, that will be incredibly crucial for his race, because if he does stick with them, he will have a lot fresher hard tyres in the race.
Yeah, I'll have to wait and see whether he can pull that strategy off, whether he can use those mediums to good effect. Obviously, a lot of people obviously not a huge fan of Baku because it is such a narrow track in places. This is really going to be a race of attrition. So trying to make it through lap 1 and through the entire race without damage is going to be crucial to this race as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be very crucial. Lap 1 is going to be probably the most crucial lap on this circuit, to stay out of trouble, away from incidents, not pick up any damage whatsoever. And I can't wait to see it happening.
Yeah, I have to wait and see if everyone can get through the first lap cleanly. This is obviously Division 3, and Division 3 in the past is known to have some few crazy races, so this could be a crazy one. It's Baku with Division 3, so we'll have to wait and see how this one plays out. Yorno getting ready then to line up at the front of the field alongside Paul, his best qualifying of the season. Let's see if he can capitalise on that. Had a good start to the season, but since then hasn't really been able to capitalise on the speed he has. More recent third as well, probably wanting to make up for the lost victory in Spain last time out. So we've got a lot of people at the front of the field who really have something to prove, and Yorno in a prime position to extend his championship lead.
Yeah, well, let's see if he's going to capitalise. What is your top 3 positions for this race, Aiden?
I've got to say Yorno to win this one because of how consistent his race pace has been all season. I think second, I'm going to go... I think we might have a McLaren 1-2 here, so I'm going to go for Thorl in second place. Third, I think I'm going to go for someone a bit further down. I think B. Morgan could get third here.
As for the most part, I think the top two, as you said, a McLaren 1-2 is definitely possible, but I think Paul might have a shot.
Here we go.
To stop them.
Here we go, where the lights and the 5 lights on ahead of the drivers. Who's going to get the best start off the front row? Lights are out, and it looks a fairly even start at the front. It maybe looks like Paul might have had the better second phase, but the run down to turn 1 is pretty short, so Jorno's going to keep the lead. There was contact further back. One of the Ferraris is sideways coming out of turn 1, but Jorno still leads. It's Paul in second place. Maurice and Thor side by side into turn 2. Maurice keeps the place as a virtual safety car for debris on the track, I'm assuming. Danny Boy and J. Cole and Ollie have all got time penalties for a collision behind the virtual safety car. Danny Boy's gone straight on at turn 2, maybe to avoid a collision. And there was a lot of people making contact at turn 1, especially one of the Ferraris. Have to try and find out who that was that made contact. I think it might have been Educk that maybe slammed into the back of another car at turn 1.
Yeah, and I think Morgan has damage now as well. A couple of other drivers have a little bit of damage.
Bree definitely does.
Really see it. TDB has damage as well. Yeah, turn 2 really tight at the race start, and unfortunately it has caught out a few people. And I think the safety car is ending right now. Drivers are returning to race speed, it looks like.
Have to wait and see. We'll have to wait. Harry Noir has had a great start. He's up into 11th place in the Alfa Romeo on the hard tyres. Bree's had a woeful start from a good qualifying. He's now down into 12th place with damage on both sides of his front wing. But we are now racing once again, so it's Jorno that still leads. He already has a second over Paul. We've got a yellow flag in the second sector. Someone has crashed in the castle section. That's TDB, I think, that's crashed in the castle section, along with Ollie in the Haas. They've both gone off in that section of track. So a lot of people at the back of the field, including Damon, Legend, all struggling at the back of the field. You have to wait and see if all of them have damage or not. I don't think Damon does, and I don't think Legend does. I think it's just Ollie, Danny and TDB that do. But Jorno still leads, but Paul has closed in quite significantly in that second part of the second sector, so he's now only 3/10 back. Paul using a bit of overtake maybe to try and get past Jorno into turn 1. Is he going to be close enough? Jorno drives all the way to the wall to defend the inside line. Paul going around the outside. Does he have the momentum? He's not late enough on the brakes. Jorno very late on the brakes into turn 1, but Paul's going to try and drive all the way around the outside. Can he pull that one off into turn 2? They're still side by side. Great racing between these two. They're still side by side coming out of turn 2. Now down towards turn 3. There's still no DRS. We're only on lap 2, so it's all about who uses as much ERS as they possibly want to. Paul down into the next corner. Jorno's on the inside line but backs out of it. Paul takes the lead of the race. It was a bit deep there though into turn 3. I don't know if Paul's hit the wall though because of how deep he was on the brakes. I think he's just about got away with it. Paul takes the race lead away from Jorno.
That is an incredible battle between those two, side by side to turn 2, the incredibly tight turn 2, and both keeping clear of any contact. Incredible to see him pull now up into the race lead. Let's see if he can pull away from Jorno behind.
Yeah, see if he can continue to do so. So Jorno into second, Thor still in 4th place, Maurice still in 3rd, so they've held position. Pease has passed Mark somewhere, so Pease is up into 5th, Mark down into 6th place. Stumpy in 7th doing a good job in the Alfa Romeo, but he's got Caesar and Educk crawling all over the back of him at the moment. White Rawai in 10th, Harry Noir, the lead person on the alternate strategy, in 11th, but you can already see how much he is struggling on those hard tyres. He just can't keep the pace of the soft drivers in front. He's already nearly 3 seconds off the back of the queue at the front of the field. Further down it's then J. Cole who has a 5-second time penalty. J. Luke leads the medium runners ahead of Damon and Legend, so they are 14th and 15th, and then everyone from Bree down, so Bree, B. Morgan, TDB, Danny Boy and Ollie have all pitted in this race for front wing changes as we now start lap 3, and it looks like Paul is feeling very confident. Look at the gap he has pulled on Jorno already. He is up and gone, and now Jorno under pressure, and he's actually into the pit lane. Has he got front wing damage maybe? I think Jorno might have hit the wall somewhere. He's coming into the pits at the end of lap 2. That's incredibly early. What tyres is he putting on it? Surely it's going to be the hard tyres. I think it must be to get to the end. No, it's a set of mediums. Jorno isn't confident on the hard tyres and a front wing change. The championship leader has fallen to the back of the field with damage.
And he's now committed into a 2-stop race, and that's definitely not ideal for our championship leader. Incredibly interesting. I didn't quite catch what happened to him.
No, I didn't either. Maybe he hit the wall coming I'm not quite sure. It's really hard to tell whether he's come in, hit the wall maybe at turn 15 or something like that, whether that's where he's hit the wall. But now puts Paul in the lead, Maurice up into second, Thor in third. Look at Pease. Pease is trying to get past Thor down into turn 7, sorry, but Thor uses his overtake to keep the position. Pease is looking very racy in that second Mercedes, maybe not happy with his qualifying result. He's now up into fourth and challenging for the podium already, but Maurice now up into second place. He's 2 seconds off our race leaders. Thor has a massive slide there at the top of the castle section, and again coming out of the next corner. He's really struggling with rear tyre grip. He's sliding all over the road, and we're only on lap 3, so his soft tyres seemingly going off already. Pease and Mark starting to crawl all over the back of the McLaren man, who's losing touch with Maurice in front, and now Pease is sliding. Everyone on the soft tyres now really struggling for rear grip. Stumpy under pressure now from Caesar, so these tyres already starting to go off, but Harry Noir still can't keep up on those hard tyres, and in fact J. Cole, J. Luke, Legend and Damon are all closing in on him as Stumpy is crawling all over the back of Mark now. Mark's made a mistake coming onto the straight as here comes Pease on Thor. Pease using his overtake in behind the McLaren man is going to move to the outside. Thor's a very fast car in a straight line, but can he keep the pace ahead of the Mercedes man? I don't think he can. He backs out of it. He actually hasn't got any ERS left at all. So Pease now goes up into third place. He's working his way through the pack nicely, and Thor again sliding all over the road with no rear grip at all. Stumpy trying to get down the inside. They're 3 wide going into turn 2. Stumpy and Mark nearly come together. Caesar has to back out of it. Caesar nearly puts Eduk into the wall, and now Eduk trying to capitalise on that mistake from Caesar, but isn't close enough and isn't going to make a move down into turn 3. They just about get away with it. Mark holds 5th for the time being, but a lot of people on the soft tyres already struggling with their rear tyres.
Yeah, those rear tyres are looking incredibly slippery right now, and that is not great to see as Total Pease makes the move, and Toll has some rear locking at the end of this first sector. That might have been a reason why Total Pease actually tried to move down here in turn 7, I believe. I think it's turn 7. But yeah, wow, that's incredibly interesting to see. Toll is really struggling on those soft tyres.
Yeah, he's now under pressure from Mark, and he's already dropped out of DRS range of Pease, who is already now in DRS range of his teammates. So Pease is looking the faster of this queue of cars. Paul continues to lead out front, nearly 3 seconds clear, so he's just trying to check it out front in the Red Bull at the moment. Pease closing in on his teammate, but Pease clipped the wall there. I think he might have just about got away with it, but that was very, very close. That was very risky from him, but he's now within DRS range of his teammates. So I wonder whether his teammate will fight this one too hard. Look how much they've dropped Thor already. Thor's nearly 2 seconds back, and Mark has now lost DRS range to the McLaren man and is now under pressure. He's got 4 cars in, all itching to get Stumpy the first of the guys in the queue. Stumpy has a lot of ERS to use. He's not using a lot of it down the straight though. He's going to go side by side. I wonder if anyone in behind can capitalise. Caesar looking fast in the straight line in the AlphaTauri. Can he maybe make it 3 wide? Caesar is absolutely flying in a straight line. He's going to go in the middle in between these two, but Caesar backs out at the last moment. Mark holds inside line, but Stumpy's going to go clean around the outside of Mark, who just doesn't have the tyre grip. Stumpy up into 4th place as Thor is the first person to dive into the pits for a set of medium, so he's also committed to the 2-stop strategy.
As Caesar now looking to go past Mark down into turn 3, he is on the inside. Mark brakes extremely late and tries to go around the outside, but Caesar has the move done. Now up into 5th place, a great start from Caesar, and he's looking to maybe get the Alfa Romeo car ahead of him on the next straight.
Yeah, he's really working his way through the field nicely, having started outside the outside at the bottom end of the top 10, sorry, in 10th place. He's working his way through nicely. Both Ferraris as well looking to try and get past Mark now. Mark is really struggling at this point in the race with those tyres. Eduk more under pressure though from his teammate behind than putting pressure on Mark in front. Harry and Wag, his pace relative to the guys in front has levelled out, but J. Luke on those medium tyres has caught and past J. Cole, has now caught Harry Noir because we have a full safety car. Wow, Danny Boy's hit the wall coming out of turn 2 by the looks of things, and a full safety car comes out, and that is a massive disaster for those that have already pitted. Yorno and Thor, who have already pitted, are going to drop so many relative places, and actually Thor's hit the wall in the castle section behind the safety car, so it's going to have to come into the pits again, and Caesar has also left the lobby, so a lot of chaos now as we come on to lap 6 of this race. We're going to see a lot of the soft runners coming into the pits now, surely.
Yeah, I imagine all the soft runners should be going into the pits. They can definitely make it to the end on these hard tires, but yeah, this is a massive struggle for those on the hard and medium tires, because now all the soft runners will basically have a free pit stop ahead of them, and this has really compromised their strategy.
This is also really going to compromise Pease. Pease is into the pit lane directly behind his teammate. Maurice puts the hard tyres on, and now Pease is going to have to be held in the double stack, so he's not going to be able to gain on this. I think one of the Ferraris as well, that's going to be YHYY that was behind his teammate, so he's going to get stuck in this double stack as well. So Ferrari and Mercedes having to double stack their cars, and that means Pease has come up behind Educ, so he's lost a whole host of places in this. Caesar's AI car stayed out on the track, so he's currently leading the race, but he's not in the lobby unfortunately, so hopefully he can join back. If Caesar doesn't join the lobby, that now means Harry Noir leads the race on the hard tyres, but the problem for him now is that everyone has basically gained a free pit stop on him, so he's going to have to hope that he's able to gap everyone in behind.
Yeah, an interesting thing to note is that Jorno has gone onto the hard tyres. He believes he'll probably go on the same strategy as all the soft runners ahead of him. So that's interesting to see. And Mark on the medium tyres.
Oh, that is risky for Mark. We've seen this a couple times this season though. Mark has gone for the softer compound tyres when it's a soft hard strategy. He's always gone for that softer compound. And the times he's done it so far this season, it hasn't worked. We saw this in Australia where he went for a medium tyre and it just did not pay off for him in the end. He just didn't really have any grip at the end and it didn't work. So have to wait and see whether this works this time around for Mark. Obviously we're going to have a few laps behind the safety cars, so that might help him get to the end. But that's going to be a real struggle for him. But we've already seen that the hard tyres really lack in pace, so Mark might be able to work his way past a few cars in front pretty quickly.
Yeah, and especially under a safety car where tyre hitting is an issue, and around a track like Baku, getting these hards up to temperature during the safety car is going to be incredibly difficult, and all those soft hard runners will struggle massively in the first 2 laps on these hard tyres.
Yeah, looking at the front then, Harry Noir is leading the race. Caesar has joined back into the lobby, so I think he's just retaken control of his car, if I am not mistaken. I think he might have done, but he's obviously not coming to the pits, so when he does come into the pits, he's going to drop a whole host of places. And he's actually hit the wall, Caesar has. He's ended up in the outside wall and has broken his front wing, so that's going to make his pit stop even longer, unfortunately. It's gone from good to bad to very ugly for Caesar so far. We're only on lap 6 of this race, so hopefully he can recover later on. So it's Harry Noir then that now leads from J. Luke in second place, and J. Luke looking racy on those medium tyres, maybe wanting to take the lead away from Harry Noir as soon as we get going again.
Yeah, and Caesar of course hitting the wall, and it's very unfortunate timing for him actually to disconnect from the lobby, because he was on the same strategy as all the soft runners ahead of him, and now with damage and pitting behind the safety car, everyone will likely overtake him, unfortunately. And yeah, it's very disappointing for Caesar, but he still has a chance to get some good points this race.
Exactly, and at least it is a safety car, so we can recatch the queue of cars, and it'll still be in this. And obviously it is Baku as well, so we know how crazy Baku can be, and that is obviously the problem as well for the likes of Educ, Pease, YHYY. They're a little bit separated now from the guys in front. So Maurice has Damon in between him and Stumpy, and then Paul has his teammate in between him and Maurice. So they've got at least a car's buffer in between their closest rivals, and all these people further back are going to have to work their way through traffic, which is going to be really, really difficult here.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really difficult, and Mark might actually be on a decent strategy if he can make those mediums to the end. I don't think that will be possible, but all those hard runners ahead of him will struggle massively with tire hitting at the end of the safety car when everything goes back to green flag racing. But I'm actually quite surprised to see some medium runners not pitting J. Luke, Legende and Damon, because basically now they'll be pit up behind the cars, behind all the hard runners, and if they pit during the safety car for the same set of hard tires, they would potentially be on the same strategy as all of those ahead or behind them, and yeah, they could have went to the end of the race on those tires. Now they have to pit probably on the green flag racing, unfortunately.
Yeah, maybe hoping for another safety car in this race, and it's not out of the question, obviously. It is likely that we could get another safety car, so maybe hoping for that to happen for them. It does mean that Harry Noir is now in the lead, so he's out of all the traffic, really. It looks like we're going to get another lap behind the safety car because Ollie hasn't caught the queue yet, so this continues probably to help Mark in this race. If the more laps we do behind the safety car, the more likely he is to get to the end. So he's probably hoping that the safety car stays out for maybe another 5 laps or so, so he can easily get those mediums to the end of the race. But it's going to be right on the bubble for him. We'll have to see what kind of progress he makes, whether he can pass Stumpy. But without the people that haven't pitted yet, the net race leader is Paul, ahead of Maurice in second place. Stumpy is a net third, and it's fair to say that this has definitely been Stumpy's best performance of the season so far, as Yorno is into the pit lane for the 3rd time in this race. I wonder what tyres Yorno's going to put on. Is it a set of mediums, I wonder?
Damage.
Oh, he's pit damage up, has he? Yeah, replacing his front wing and now a new set of mediums. So Yorno falls from 13th, sorry. He's now down into last place again. So Yorno, 3rd pit stop in this race, and we're only on lap 8. And he's now going to have to work his way through everyone in the field if he wants to get to the front.
Yeah, very interesting to see him pit twice under the same safety car. He pitted onto the mediums before, or after his wing damage, and then during the safety car went onto the hards. I imagine he wanted to go to the end of those hard tires, but he might have hit the back of a car ahead of him and picked up some wing damage, and now he's opted to go on the mediums again.
Yeah, I have to wait and see whether he can get those mediums to the end of the race as well. So let's see what he can do, but he's now going to have to catch the queue, which he's going to do very, very shortly. So we should be getting back onto green flag racing again at the start of lap 9. So now it's all about what Paul can do. Can Paul work his way through the guys in front quick enough to really gap Maurice? Can Maurice pass Legend quick enough to maybe challenge for the race win? That is really going to be crucial at this restart, as it is as well for the likes of Harry Noir, J-Luke and J-Cole to themselves try and pull away from maybe people that might struggle at the safety car restart. So that is going to be the crucial things to look out for, as well as obviously hard tyres, trying to get them up to working range and trying to get them up to the right temperature. But now that we've had the start of this race, Dylan, before we get going again, who now do you think is in the best place to win this race?
I think Paul's still in the best place to win. He can easily go to the end on those hard tires, but I think it's quite difficult to predict who's going to come in second. Because you have Maurice, of course, but you also had Total Peace, who was looking like the fastest driver out on the top 3. He was catching Maurice hand over fist and catching Paul as well. But yeah, I think Maurice is still going to finish second, and I'm going to say Edux is going to finish third.
There we go then. So that is Dylan's second prediction of the stream so far, and it's completely different from the first one. So that's how crazy the early laps have been. But Harry Noir's he's gone now, so he's gone just at the kink in the straight. He leads the drivers then down towards turn 1. J-Luke in second, J-Cole directly behind him in the racing point, who's had the best of restarts. It looks like we've got someone caught napping. We've got, I believe that is J-Cole that's been caught napping. He's got Paul down the inside of him. Paul's already passed his teammate, so I think Paul's actually passed his teammate before the start-finish line, which you can't do. And now they're 3 wide into turn 2. Paul lets his teammate back through him, a Legend at the same time trying to dive down the inside of J-Cole. Nearly puts J-Cole on the wall, hits his teammate. There's contact between Legend and Paul. Has Paul spun the car? He has. Paul, our net race leader, contact with his teammate and has spun the car. The McLarens have hit each other now as well. I think Thul moved across on Giorno in a straight line, and there was a bit of contact between the pair of them. One of them's picked up damage. I didn't quite see which one it was. I think it might be Thul. Yeah, Thul's the one with damage in the end. But our net race leader spun out by his teammate and is now 18th. So it's now Maurice who is our net race leader, currently running in 5th. Pease is already up into 7th. I don't know what on earth his safety car restart has been, but he's jumped ahead of Mark, Eda and YHYY and Damon and is now running in 7th.
That is an incredible safety car restart from Total Peace, capitalizing on the mistakes of the drivers ahead, and that's really good. And now he's looking to charge. He's now in a net podium position, looking at the race win in sight. So it's going to be very interesting to see if he can make those moves stick and overtake Stumpy and overtake his teammate. And yeah, that's an incredible restart from Total Peace.
Yeah, he's got the working nicely. Caesar's retired from the session, unfortunately, on the road, so hopefully that doesn't bring out any sort of safety car. That hopefully doesn't affect his any of the other drivers' races. It doesn't like it has done so. Paul, meanwhile, is only coming through the castle section, so he has lost so much time with that contact coming out of turn 2. Both Haas cars as well have collided with each other, so they're losing out. Meanwhile, P's looking for another position. J. Luke's taken the race lead away from Harry Noir. Those mediums still working nicely for the Williams down into turn 1. Is he going to have the inside line? He is. J. Luke takes the lead away from Harry. They are 2 seconds clear of Legend. Meanwhile, P's and Stumpy, they were battling, but Stumpy just about holds on to 6th place on the road. But again, a slow exit out of turn 1, and Pease is all over the back of him. No DRS as of yet, though, as Thorler's retired in the pit lane, unfortunately. And we've got Ollie into the pit lane as well. Thorler's left, so his race is done. That is such a shame for him. Ollie is also retired in the pit lane after contact with his teammate. So a lot of teammates coming into contact at that safety car restart, and it's cost a lot of people chances at race victory. And now it's a battle between Maurice Stumpy and Pease and White's YY if he can get in on the action.
Yeah,
that's Damon. Damon spun, meanwhile, coming out of turn 4. He just dropped the car on his own on traction and has spun. He's going again, but he's got damage on his front wing, so he's going to be running down towards last place. He's going to have to come in and replace that. Meanwhile, Yorno, from 19th at the safety car restart, is now 10th and 1 place behind Mark. Oh my word, as I say that, a massive moment. Everyone, even drivers on the medium tyres, are struggling for grip.
Yeah, those tyres are certainly not up to temperature. Everyone is struggling massively on their tyres, and they have to sit through it right now.
Another safety car. Damon's hit the wall in the castle section. So Damon, with that front wing damage, has understeered into the wall, and that is a full safety car for the second time in this race. We have a full safety car. This could be great for J-Luke, Harry Noir, and Legend, and J-Cole. Maybe they could come in now and get those tyres on, because obviously they might not get another safety car opportunity to do so. So this could be good for them. But it now means that if they do come in, Maurice will take the lead of the race. We'll have to wait and see if they do come in. J-Luke had actually put such a massive gap on Harry after his overtake. So J-Luke's into the pit lane. Harry follows him in. Legend stays out. So Legend continues on those medium tyres. He doesn't want to come in as of yet. So that means Legend now leads the race from 20th on the grid. We're on lap 11 and he now leads. Maurice is up into second, and he's obviously already made his pit stop. Maurice in second, Stumpy third, Peace fourth, Mark fifth, Yorno in sixth. This man, no matter what happens to him in a race, you cannot put this man down. He just keeps coming back no matter what happens. He's now running in a net P5.
That is incredible. It will be very interesting to see if he can make those medium tyres last to the end, and the safety cars will definitely help him to do so, because it will save him a few percentages in tyre wear over the course of the race. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. And Harry Noir behind him on fresh mediums came out in 7th, so the safety cars helped him a lot as well. Yeah,
massively helped Harry Noir in 7th. J-Luke's in 8th on fresh set of hards. White's YY's pitted again. He's put a fresh set of medium tyres on. He's 9th. J. Cole's 10th on a fresh set of medium. So it has helped those guys that did stay out at that first safety car restart. It has helped them somewhat in where their net position would have been when they pitted in green flag racing. So they are now running in the bottom end of the top 10. Other people that pitted, TDB's pitted again, as has XL Brie and Educ. Both Ferraris pitted at the same time for the second time in about 4 laps. So Educ this time around was the one being held up, and B Morgan has not pitted as of yet. He's just stayed out in his medium tyres. Paul has pitted after being hit by his teammate, but what a shame from Paul, from running net first to now net last.
Yeah, and I think it was just a little bit unfortunate. He was trying to overtake J. Cole, and J. Cole got a little bit of oversteer. He went, Paul tried to avoid him, went a little bit wide at the exit of turn 1, and that allowed Legende to put his nose up there into turn 2 on J. Cole. And yeah, it's just a very unfortunate bit of contact, I believe, between Paul and Legende, and yeah, very disappointing result for Paul.
Yeah, we have 5 drivers out of the race so far. We're on lap 11. 5 drivers out. Damon, Ollie, Thor, Caesar and Danny Boy. So both Alpha Tauris, not good for their manufacturers. Both Alpha Tauris are out of this race already. Thor as well, after qualifying 4th on the grid, he's out of the race after contact with his teammate at the safety car restart as well. We had both Red Bulls, both McLarens and both Haas cars crashing into each other on the first safety car restart.
This is going to be quite interesting during or at the end in the D3 chat to first see these drivers talk to their teammates. But I think it's just the nature of Baku, really. Sort of, it's extremely tight, especially on safety car restart with the tire eating. Mistakes are definitely there's definitely room for a lot of mistakes, and yeah, it's just a little bit of unfortunate. And Baku is extremely difficult to race on, and yeah, sometimes it is what it is, and can't win them all, as they often say.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, good luck to the stewards for this one after this weekend, because I mean, Division 3, sometimes we have a few inquiries in Division 3, but Baku is Baku, so it was going to come anyway. In pretty much all divisions it's probably going to be like this, so that's going to be interesting. One thing I am interested though for the rest of this race now is what is Legend going to do, because he's out in front. He's the only person yet to make a pit stop in this race. He's on 11 lap old medium tyres, so they are reaching the end of their peak performance. So is he going to try and stay out and maybe put a set of soft tyres on in maybe about 5 laps time?
Yeah, but the thing is, if there's not a safety car, he will have to do that in green flag racing, and most likely he will fall back to last on the grid. And yeah, it's a very risky strategy from him. So if he can manage to get those medium tires to at least lap 18, I think he will put on the soft tires. But yeah, if he does that in green flag racing, he will lose him a lot of track positions in the race.
Yeah, I'll have to wait and see. Maybe he's hoping for something similar to what we've just seen, so another safety car after another safety car. Safety cars brew safety cars at Baku, so we might see another one yet, and Legend may be able to capitalise on that one and put a set of soft tyres on, but even so, he would still come out relatively far down the field because obviously the pack is close together. It's a Red Bull that fronts the field, and it's a Red Bull that that backs the field, so at the back of the field. But this time they swapped round. In qualifying it was Paul at the front and Legend at the back. This time round it's now Legend at the front and Paul in the back for the race. But I was going to say again, who do you think is going to win this time round? Because we said it was Paul, and then we cursed Paul and Paul spun at turn 2. So now it's just, surely it's just a battle between Stumpy, Maurice and Pease from here.
Well, I predicted before the race started that Bjorn was going to win the race, and then literally a lap after what happened, he got damaged and went into last position. Then I said Paul's going to win, and now he's in last position. So it's just, you can't predict what's going to happen. And I think to save some people from the commentators' curse, I'm just going to say good luck to everyone in D3. Keep it clean, and yeah, I don't want to curse anyone.
Well, now that you've said that, everyone's going to crash out of this race because everyone won't keep it clean from here on out. But yeah, like you say, commentators' curses has been ripe today so far. We've cursed both drivers that we thought were going to do well. But I mean, we say that Jorno's now a net P5 after all that carnage, so he's now back up into possibly a race-winning position on a fresher set of medium tyres than Mark in front. But obviously got to look to the freshest set of medium tyres behind in Harry Noir, who has had a bit of an understated season so far. Obviously it was his first race last time, I believe it in Spain, and it just didn't really go too well for him. But other than that, he's not really done much so far this season. But this is a good opportunity for him to battle for a podium alongside his Alpha teammate.
I think he finished P8 or P7 somewhere in Zandvoort. So yeah, that's a pretty decent point. Because I think he bought the game extremely late. He's really he's new to the game, sort of. Everyone in this lobby probably has a 2-month advantage over him. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see him improve over the course of the season, of course. But he's in a good position now. Fresh medium tires, likely to go to the end on these tires, and we'll likely see maybe a couple of moves from him.
Yeah, possibly. We have to wait and see if again maybe the hard runners can get their tyres up to temperature once again. Jay Luke is obviously the furthest person down on the field at the moment on a set of hard tyres. We'll have to see if Pease can do it again. Pease obviously got his hard tyres up to temperature much better than everyone in front of him, and it gained him at least 4 places on that safety car restart. So let's see if he can do the same thing again. But here we go, safety car is in this lap, so it's now Legend who is going to lead the way. He obviously won last time out in Spain. He has plenty of experience being at the front of the field. Let's see what he can do for his safety car restart. Obviously the problem with Baku is that it is such a long run down into turn 1 that you could have an amazing safety car restart and still be overtaken by the time you get to turn 1 because of how powerful overtake and the slipstream is here. Let's see when Legend goes. He's back in the field right up, running very, very slowly. He's gone already, so he's gone pretty early, and Maurice is stuck with him. Maurice is stuck with him pretty well. Stumpy's actually already been overtaken by Pease before the safety car restarts. I don't know if Stumpy has made a mistake, but Pease has passed him, so that Pease is going to have to give that place back. There's contact further back. TEB's been put in the wall, I think, by J. Cole, or maybe the other way around. I didn't quite see, but 2 people in the wall down the straight. But Legend leads into turn 1. We've got Mark trying to make a move. Jorno trying to make a move around the outside of Mark into turn 1. Not quite close enough. He's going to look down the inside now towards turn 2. He's really late on the brakes as Jorno down the inside. Mark gives him the space. Jorno's going to slide past and up into 5th place. Good move from Jorno up past the Renault driver. Stumpy obviously overtaken by Pease at the safety car restart. Harry Noir looking to get in on this as now Mark comes back down the inside of Jorno into turn 3. He's pretty late on the brakes. He leaves Jorno the space on the outside of the corner, and Jorno's going to go have the inside line for turn 4 this time round. He's very late on the brakes. He keeps the move, and here comes Jay Luke on the hard tyres round the outside of Harry Noir, up into 7th place. Good stuff from Jake Luke, capitalises on a mistake from the Alfa Romeo man. He's down the inside. Harry Noir tries to keep it down the inside, but hits the curb, and now he's under pressure from YHYY, who's going to come around the outside of him. One mistake here, and you lose a number of places. YHYY, though, backs out of the move as all contact.
Maurice spun.
Oh, I wonder if he's hit the inside wall. We've got someone else picking up damage. That's a red front wing. That's probably one of the Ferraris.
Another safety car.
Wow, 3rd safety car of the race already. We're on lap 14. This is just falling apart. Again, Maurice, our net race leader, spins the car. I wonder if he's hit the wall coming through turn 7. That's probably very likely that he's turned in too early, done a Hulkenberg and hit the inside wall at turn 7 and spun the car. And I believe was that Brie or was that Mark that picked up damage? There was definitely yellow front wing, so I don't know if Mark's picked up damage somewhere. Let's have a look and see. Oh, Yorno's missing pretty much all of his front wing, so Yorno's missing a lot of his, and Mark's missing damage as well. So I wonder if they've hit Maurice as he's spun around.
I'm pretty sure that is what happened, because he was in the middle of the road when he spun. And of course, it's one of the tighter parts of the track, and it's quite hard to avoid with, of course, ghosting not going on immediately. And yeah, that's very unfortunate. I think it was a little bit of a chain reaction to what happened, and now
look how many people are coming in. Yeah, Harry Noir's the only one that stayed out, apart from YHYY. So Harry Noir, YHYY stay out. Breeze also stayed out in the Renault, and now Paul's back up to 4th. What on earth is happening in this race? This keeps changing every second. Legends come in and put the soft tyres on with 12 laps to go. Let's take those soft tyres to the end. We have obviously got a couple laps under the safety car yet, so that might help him. But he's now 5th from 20th on the grid on a set of soft tyres. But now Harry Noir leads the race again. YHYY 2nd, Bree 1st, Paul 4th. This has been the most unpredictable race I think I've ever commentated on in my life. It just keeps changing every second.
And we're only 15 laps into this race, but still 11 laps to go, and it feels like we barely had any green flag racing, to be honest. It's yeah, very, very interesting, and it's so difficult to call who's going to win this race.
I mean, what goes around comes around, it feels like, because Yorno had very bad luck at the start of the race and then made up for it, and then there's obviously had bad luck again in Ross's front wing. Paul obviously got spun around after contact with his teammate, but he's now back up into 4th in a possible race-winning position. So now it's all about whether Harry Noir has the pace to hold the lead, because we saw while he was on the hard tyres, he really struggled for outright speed, so he couldn't quite hold on to the race lead ahead of Jay Luke. Let's see if he has the speed in the medium tyres, but we saw at the safety car restart he got overtaken by Jay Luke on the harder compounded tyres. So it's not out of the bet really that Harry can keep this race lead, and with Paul probably the outright favourite at the moment to win this race in 4th, it's going to be a massive ask for him to hold this race lead now.
Yeah, and especially with these safety cars coming in quick succession, and yeah, it's just incredible, because after the first safety car around lap 4 or 5, we probably had maybe 2 or 3 laps at max of green flag racing, which is quite interesting to say the least. And yeah, wow, this race is just unpredictable, as Paul was in the lead and then picked up or came into contact with his teammate Legende, and then all the way down to last position, and now up into 4th, probably looking as the favorite to win this race. I just don't even know how this is possible, to be honest.
I'd just like to throw another thing into the mix. We said at the start of the stream, I wonder if weather's going to play a part in this. Look up to the sky. It's getting cloudy. So it's not out of the question yet that it could end up raining by the time we get to the end of the race, which would throw another spanner into the works if that does happen. So we're going to have to keep an eye out for the weather in this one, because it is clouding over the further we get into this race. So that's not out of the question. We've had another couple people into the pit lane, so B. Morgan and Eduk have pitted. These guys have now pitted so much that they don't have any spare tyres left. So Eduk's coming out of the pit lane on 4-lap-old mediums. B. Morgan's going to come out of the pit lane on 6-lap-old medium tyres. So they're going to struggle to get to the end as it is anyway. And that's the problem with getting into contact at Baku, is that you simply run out of tyres.
Interesting thing to note is Harry Noir and Legende are the only ones to do a one-stop around this track. So
that is crazy.
That is crazy.
It's crazy to have 16. We're 16 laps into the race. Not even. We still have over 10 laps to go, and still we've only got 2 people on a one-stop. And that goes to show that at the moment, Harry Noir and Legend have done the best job of keeping out of trouble so far.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm still. It's just unbelievable how this oh, this has always happened, because everything has been thrown upside down 15 million times, I feel it feels like. And yeah, with now, of course, now you said it, it looks incredibly overcast right now. And with these safety cars, we might actually see some rain at the end of the race.
That would just be the icing on the cake, really, wouldn't it? If we get rain at Baku with the carnage we've seen already, that is going to be crazy to see. And again, I feel sorry for the stewards after this one, because this is going to be a long week for them, I imagine, because there's been a lot going on that probably will be investigated. A lot of contact at these safety car restarts. I'll have to wait and see whether this happens again. Safety car is in this lap, so we will get going for 10 laps to go in this race. Can we get to the end of the race without another safety car? We'll have to wait and see. But Harry Noir, for the second time in this race, is going to lead drivers to the green flag after a safety car. Let's see if he can do it this time around, whether he can keep the lead into turn 1 like he did on the first safety car restart. He keeps a bit of a higher speed than what we saw from Legend, so he's not the gap. The field is a little bit more spaced out as we get going for the safety car restart. When does he go? He's got his overtake on. He's not gone as of yet. He's going now, so he's going just past the DRS detection point. He's had a good safety car restart, as is YYY. It's Bree that's under pressure. People in the background, someone's losing places. That's Stumpy. Stumpy's been caught out. He's had a terrible safety car restart and he's dropping places. Bree is under pressure from both Paul and Legend. Paul looking down the inside of Bree, down the inside. Bree, well, there's contact. Paul again. Contact at a safety car restart and has spun the car at turn 1. Pease has got a 5-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags, so he's obviously passed someone before the safety car, before the pit line, the start-finish line. That's probably why he's got that. But Paul again falling foul of contact at the safety car restart, back down to 15th. Pease is up to 4th. Pease has gained so many places behind the safety car restart that is definitely going to be looked at. That Pease has passed way too many people before the start-finish line, and that's going to cost him at the end with penalties. Someone, I think, in the background might have picked up damage. I didn't quite see who that was. But Harry Noir still leads from YYY and Bree. It's now Pease in 4th ahead of Legend. Pease has massively capitalised at this safety car restart to the point that it's going to be investigated surely by the stewards.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure from what position he jumped up to, or from where he started behind the safety car, but this is yeah, he's in P4 right now. And if you get a 5-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags, most of the time you've actually ignored the yellow flags and overtaken probably 1 or 2 cars under yellow flag conditions, and yeah, that's definitely going to cost him at the end of the race as he goes incredibly deep into turn 5, or 15, I'm sorry. But yeah, this is probably the cleanest safety car restart we've had all race.
Yeah, going to run on board with Legend. He's looking very racy on these soft tyres. Pease, meanwhile, he started the safety car restart in 7th and he's now 4th. So he's massively gained on people. Obviously, we had a spin for Paul, but that's still 2 places that he's gained before the safety car really got going. And now Pease looking for another move on Bree, but we're on board with Legend, who's even faster in a straight line. He's going to go to the outside. They're going to make it 3 wide into turn 1. Who has the most momentum into the corner? Legend, so late on the brakes. Round the outside of all of them goes Legend. That is Daniel Ricciardo-esque from Legend up into 3rd place on those soft tyres. Brilliant move from him, capitalising on the slow straight line speed of Bree and Pease. Up into 3rd place. It's now YHYY is closing down on Harry Noir for the race lead.
This is heating up a lot during this race. Legend, of course, using those soft tyres to his advantage and breezing past Total Pease and Bree. Incredible move around the outside. But yeah, he's looking very, very fast right now, and he's looking to overtake the Ferrari and the Alfa Romeo ahead and secure his race win. And yeah, look how fast he is through the first and second sector as of right now.
Yeah, look how quickly he's caught YHYY already. He's completely dropped Pease almost. And it's now on the back of YHYY. He's absolutely flying on these softs. It's whether he can get those soft tyres to the end of the race. That is the key question. We've still got 8 laps to go in this one. Pease has now caught this queue of cars, so it looks like Harry is starting to hold these guys up a little bit. There's a bit of a queue forming. Bree's a little bit separated in 5th at the moment, but he's not too far back himself. Stumpy runs in 6th ahead of Mark 7th, Yorno 8th. Jacob 9th and Maurice in 10th after his spin at that safety car race after the previous safety car restart. So he runs off the top turn.
Ooh. YHYY hit the wall. I think they might have tapped him a little bit entering the turn 15, and now he's lost out massively, and I don't think he has wing damage. That's quite fortunate for him, but that has cost him 2 positions nevertheless, and yeah, that was really close to wing damage for YHYY. I'm surprised he got away with it.
Yeah, I'm very surprised as well at the outside of that corner. It's so easy to do so. It looks like he has got away with it. Still in fourth. Brie just behind him trying to capitalise. Peas and Legend going at it again, but Legend looks very fast in a straight line. And Peas has already used up a lot of his. Actually, as Legend, both are using up all of their ERS pretty much already, so they're going to be struggling. Yorno now passes Mark down into turn 1. Mark's got front wing damage from somewhere, so he's obviously going to be struggling the further we get into this race, but he's still down the inside of turn 2 fighting with Yorno. And oh my word, he nearly squeezed Yorno into the wall there. Yorno backed out at the last second, but again, a lot of these people are out of ERS already. They've used so much of it coming down towards turn 1 that they haven't got anything to attack with. And now here comes J. Cole down the inside of his championship rival. 2x2 coming into this corner. Maurice and J. Luke are side by side. J. Luke trying to get past the Mercedes man. Can't quite do so. Oh, there's contact though between Maurice and them. And now Eduk is trying to get past the pair of them down towards turn 5. He's going to go round the outside of them, is he? Maurice incredibly late on the brakes, but he just about holds it round the outside, does he? Nearly into the wall. Eduk's going to have the inside line though for turn 7. Surely Eduk will have the place ahead of the Mercedes man as they go into turn 7. He does so. And here comes B. Morgan trying to make it 2 people down the inside. And he puts Maurice in the wall. Yeah, Maurice I think had to back out of that move. B. Morgan had the corner, and that's put Maurice in the wall. And I think Paul's picked up damage from it. He has, so it goes from bad to worse. These two running 1-2 at the start of the race. Now 13th and 14th with front wing damage. J. Luke I think also has damage as well in the Williams, caught up in that Constantina effect. So 3 people definitely going to have to pit. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Harry Noir still leads, but now Legend is only 3/10 back, and surely it's only a matter of time before Legend takes the lead of the race.
Yeah, it might be a good option for Harry Noir to let him go and try to make him use his soft tires and probably try and stick with it with the Legende ahead. And when his tires go off, maybe try and overtake him again. But Legende breezes past Harry Noir.
Breezes past, yeah. Harry still has more ERS to use compared to the 2 drivers he's battling at the moment, so he's saved a little bit in the tank if he needs it. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3. Oh, people have crashed coming into the pit lane. That's Maurice and TDB have crashed into each other. Our 4th safety car in this race. TDB and Maurice have crashed into each other coming into the pit lane, so they haven't even made the pit lane entry and they've crashed. So that's another 2 people out of the race. That again saves Paul, who'll be able to catch the safety car queue, but all of the drivers have already passed the safety car, so they'll have to do 1 more lap and then catch the safety car again. But 4th safety car in this race now, and it just goes from crazy to chaotic to absolute carnage at Baku.
And Mark and Yorno both have wing damage.
Oh my word, is that the 3rd safety car in a row that's happened?
Yep, I think that might have been the case. There's 4 safety cars. It's just insane. And we probably had the most laps of green running out of the race. 4 laps, I believe, and now another safety car. And this could quite help. This could help Legende get these soft tires to the end of the race.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm so like I'm saying I'm surprised, but do I need to be surprised because this has been another safety car, another safety car, another safety car. Maybe we should expect another safety car in 2 or 3 laps.
Maybe, yeah. We're getting to the point of no return really for safety cars. We'll get to a stage where the safety car physically cannot come out anymore. So we will hit that point somewhere along the lines in these next few laps. But yeah, this has massively helped Legend. This is exactly what he needed. It's starting to get sunny again, so that threat of rain I think might have dissipated now. But Legend now out in front on the soft tyres under the safety car. This will help him get to the end. And now Paul's put on a set of soft tyres down at the back of the field, trying to work his way back into the points. He's the only person at the moment not in the points paying positions, so I'll have to wait and see how far up he can get. Mark dives into the pit lane. Does Yorno go in as well? I don't think so. We've got one of the Ferraris in. YHYY's into the pit lane. Yorno stays out with his damage, so he doesn't come into the pit lane. I think because he just doesn't have any tyres left. He doesn't have anything to put on his car anymore.
Yeah, and that is very interesting because yeah, there's so many safety cars. I believe we have 4 full course safety cars and 1 virtual safety car at the start of the race. And now we have multiple drivers on 4-stop strategy in the race.
Wow.
Yorno on a 4-stop, Eduk, B. Morgan, Paul, all of them on a 4-stop strategy. That's something you don't see quite often, and they're still inside the points, most of them.
Yeah, that's something you don't see often and something you probably won't see again this season, because this is a very unique track to say the least. But the only people still on a 1-stop are 1-2 at the moment. It just goes to show that keeping out of trouble, being consistent and being clean really pays dividends. They are now 1-2 because of it.
Yeah, that is definitely the case, and hats off to them with Legende starting from P20 now,
Wow.
P1, and I'm not gonna say it. Never. No, let's not curse him. Let's not curse him today.
Let's not do that just yet. We've done it enough already. I mean, we even said the possibility of Paul winning the race after being fourth at the safety car restart, and he immediately spun at turn 1. So we've cursed him twice in this race already. But I have to wait and see, because now everyone from 9th down, so Wai, Mark, J. Cole, Paul, and J. Luke, have all put the soft tyres on, and everyone in front of them, at least their medium tyres are going to be at least 6 laps old when we restart this race. B. Morgan on the oldest set of medium tyres, they're already 10 laps old, so that's going to be a tall order for him to get those to the end of the race, even with these safety cars that have come into play. But I said, I think after Australia that it's going to be hard to top Caesar's drive from last to second in Australia. But if, and I mean if, only if this continues and Legend gets to the end of this race and wins this one, this would be probably drive of the season so far.
Yeah, definitely with the one-stop strategy, with everyone around him picking up damage, making mistakes, and with all the chaos that's going on, staying out of that chaos and making this strategy work is just incredible. And I'm just not going to say anything about, I'm not going to predict anything. It's not going to happen. Let's just say everyone has a chance to win, and now everyone's going to crash out. I'm sorry to everyone. Oh my god.
At this rate, J. Luke's going to win this race from 13th. You never know what's going to happen. But if, like I say, if Legend does win this race, 2 race wins in a row, and you're not scoring very well so far, Legend could actually, having started this championship 5 races late, be within a shot of the title.
That would be an incredible comeback season for him. That would be incredible.
I mean, place your bets on it now, guys. Legend could still be in with a shot of winning this title, having not taken part in the first 4 rounds of the championship. So is the way that his pace has been so far. Obviously, wasn't able to qualify for this event, and Stumpy, oh no, Stumpy having such a good run so far, running in 5th, 5-second time penalty for a severe collision with Yorno, so that's going to drop him a number of places by the end of this race. Such a shame for the Alfa Romeo man, who was looking at maybe a shot at a podium. It's definitely his best run of the season so far. That's now going to drop him way down to the back of the field.
It might get removed though, because
it was Yorno that hit him.
Yeah, exactly, and you won't have to serve it most likely in the pit stop again. So,
and look at Yorno's front wing. Look at Yorno's front wing on the left-hand side. It's even worse than it was. That is massive amount of front wing damage. Yorno's not going to be competitive with that, and he's going to drop well down to the back of the field. Championship leader has had such a disastrous race at every corner. It's really gone wrong for him, and again, it's going to happen for him with no front wing on that car. He's going to drop pretty much to the back of the field.
Yeah, literally every time something looked good for Yorno, it's gone worse than picking up wing damage again under the safety car. And especially with those soft runs behind him, who will be insanely quick on their tires, it's going to be very hard for him to even hold the medium runners behind him. And yeah, it's just very disappointing for him. It's only 4 laps left though, so it's going to be very interesting. See how this race is going to end out. Everyone has a chance of winning, as we've seen throughout this race. So good luck to everyone on the safety car restart, and let's hopefully finish the race cleanly.
Hopefully, yeah. A lot of people speeding up. Look at them all queuing up side by side. Legend goes. Harry wasn't prepared for it. Harry was not prepared for that restart. And again, Pease is side by side with someone before the safety car, before the start-finish line. So Pease, again, if he passes Harry before the start-finish line, might be penalised here. Harry down the inside. Pease has passed him before the start-finish line. So that, again, might be another penalty for the Mercedes man. But he backs out of the move into turn 1, gives Harry the place back. Meanwhile, in behind, Stumpy's up into 4th. Good restart from him. He's past Mark and Yorno, who's struggling with his damage at the moment. That was Bree, sorry. Bree didn't have a good restart. He's been tapped from behind. He's tapped by B. Morgan, and Mark caught up in that one as well. More people caught up in that. Pretty much all of the soft runners caught up in that damage. J. Luke started this restart in 13th. He's now 7th after 2 corners. Meanwhile, Harry Noir and P side by side once again coming out of turn 3. P's this time will get the move done cleanly and legally, and he's now past Harry Noir. Harry down the inside for turn 5. Not close enough to capitalise on it though, so he stays in that position for the time being. Stumpy running 4th ahead of Yorno 5th. Eduk in 6th in the Ferrari, trying to get past that damage damage to McLaren. Jay Luke has caught these guys now as well. Jay Luke from 13th at the restart, now 7th in a great position. He's down the inside of Vidoc at turn 7. He's going to get moved on, but Jay Luke himself has now got damage as well in that Williams. And now they're going to have to follow Yorno through the castle section, who has absolutely no front wing on that car. Yorno hits the wall, so does Jay Luke. A lot of people hitting the wall in behind. I don't see if anyone got through that one without hitting the wall in the end. But Jay Luke's picked up even more damage in that Williams, and that's going to cost him possibly a shot at a top 5 here as he now passes Yorno. They're both with front wing damage. Yorno's going to hit the wall. I think he just about gets away without retiring from the race, but his front wing is completely gone now. He has absolutely no front wing at all, so he's going to have to pit to finish this race. White cuts turn 15 to avoid all the carnage, but still picks up damage in that Ferrari. Pulls up to 11th, and it's Bree now running outside of the points in 13th place.
This is just unpredictable. It's literally unpredictable, and
as Paul's retired. Wow, Paul's hit the wall in the last corner of the circuit. He's hit the wall, must have come into contact with someone, maybe Yorno. Obviously Yorno with that damage might have understeered into the wall and just dragged Paul in with him. Yorno's not come in to replace that front wing. That means that everyone that now finishes this race is going to score points no matter what happens now that Paul is out of the race. What a shame for maybe our favourite to win this one. He's now out of it, down in 13th, but Legend continues to lead on those soft tyres ahead of Pease in second, Harry in third. Stumpy's trying to get past his Alfa Romeo teammate, and you know what, even with that 5-second time penalty, Stumpy's done enough here to still maybe cling on to 4th place with all the people behind him stuck behind Jay Luke on those soft tyres with front wing damage.
Yeah, and most likely that 5-second time penalty will get removed because it's Yorno that hit the back of him. So it's quite an unfair penalty for Stumpy, so he might get that removed at the end of the race and maybe keep his 4th position ahead of Jay Luke.
Yeah, let's see if he can hold on to that one. Jay Luke, meanwhile, even with the front wing damage, he's still doing a good job of holding P5 at the moment. So just goes to show how strong those soft tyres are. Eduk in 6th in the Ferrari. He's got damage himself, I believe. Or no, he hasn't actually. Mark's in 7th in the Renault. Let's see if he's got any damage. I don't think he has, so that's good to see. Yorno's retired from the session, so that is the risk with staying out with no front wing. Yorno could have come in and replaced that front wing and still finished in the points, but because of that no front wing, he's ended up hitting the wall in the castle section and now scores absolutely no points. So that means championship leader. The championship lead is going to come down. Jake, although at the moment only 8th, so he's not capitalising enough on this mistake from Yorno.
And Caesar not capitalizing as well, but retiring earlier in the race. So that has sort of saved Yorno, but that has also ruined his chances of maybe increasing his championship lead over the cars behind. And now Legende is, or Total Pease is closing into the back of Legende. Might have a chance of winning the race on track.
Let's wait and see whether Pease can close them past Legende. We've got 2 laps to go in this race. Legend on those soft tyres, they're going to be wearing out by now. And Legend is completely out of ERS, as is Pease. So they've used up all of their reserves at this point in time. So Pease won't have anything really to attack with. But those medium tyres starting to work for him. Is Stumpy now down the inside of his Alfa Romeo teammate. He's going to get past Harry Noir and up into 3rd place on the podium. Good stuff from him. He's past Harry Noir, who just doesn't quite have the pace to keep up with the guys in front. Further in behind, Jay Luke still holds P5 ahead of Eduk in 6th, Mark in 7th, Jaco in 8th. Mark having a look down the inside of Eduk into turn 5, but not close enough to make the move stick, so he stays in behind for the time being. B Morgan runs 9th, White runs off the top 10. XL breezes into the pit lane. He's probably going for the fastest lap in 11th as Mark has passed Eduk down into turn 7. So good run out of 6 into 7. Mark's up into 6th and now he can challenge Jay Luke for 5. As Jay Luke nearly puts it in the wall in the castle section. He's wobbling all over the road. He has absolutely no front end and grip. Can Mark get past him? Maybe down towards turn 15. He's going to look down the inside. This is a risky move to pull off. Jay Luke's going to turn in. He just about gets down the inside and Mark makes the move stick on Jay Luke and he's up into P5. Good stuff from Mark.
That's a good move, a good double overtake in the 2nd sector. Usually not a place where you see a lot of overtakes, but Mark gets it done.
Here comes Pease.
On those soft tyres.
Pease on the back of Legend Myanmar for the race lead. Pease has saved up a little bit of ERS to try and attack with here. He's got some in behind the Red Bull man coming down towards turn 1, but he's not using it. He's waiting at the moment. He's just sticking in behind the Red Bull man. He doesn't go for the move. So I wonder whether Pease is going to try and do this on the last lap so that Legend doesn't really have anything, so that Legend can't come back at him, I wonder. Maybe that's his plan, but they come down through turn 2. Legend still leads, but those soft tyres have reached the end of their tyre life, and Pease is absolutely flying on those mediums, but not attacking just yet. He's just sitting in behind the Red Bull man, not going for a move. Meanwhile, further in behind, Stumpy still holds P3 ahead of Harry Noir in 4th. Mark now up to 5th ahead of Jay Luke 6th, Eduk 7th. B Morgan 8th, J Cole down to 9th, so he got overtaken by B Morgan in all that chaos, and White YY runs off the top 10 in the second Ferrari. But this has been the craziest race I think I've ever seen so far. This has been utterly insane, and we're now on the last lap of the race. I don't know how we're not 20 million minutes over time at the moment. We're only 1 minute over the time at the moment, which is crazy to think. But we're on the last lap, and look at Pease. He's pushing Legend through the castle section. There's no move on for him there. He can't get through, and Pease is saving up a lot of ERS here. Is Legend? Legend's not. Legend's using overtake down this straight, so he's wasting some ERS here to try and hold on to the place when he doesn't really need to. And now here comes Pease down towards turn 15. Is he going to be close enough onto the pit straight? This is going to be a drag race to the line. We see it so often at Baku in league racing that it's a drag race to the line, and it looks like we might see it again here. Is Pease going to win this one on track? Pease is still probably going to be under investigation for overtaking under the safety car, so one of the Alfa Romeos might end up winning this race. You never know, but here we go then. Pease has got some ERS to use, and he's going to go to the inside for the kinking. He's going to have the outside line down towards turn 1. How is Legend straight line speed? They drive down towards the start finish line, but Pease is going to have the extra speed and the DRS, and Pease is going to out drag Legend and take the race win, but has a 5-second unserved time penalty anyway. So Legend is going to win the race on track, and Harry Noir is going to steal second place from Pease. Mark is going to cross the line in 4th. Stumpy drops to 5th in the end. Eduk will take 6th ahead of J Luke in 7th. B Morgan, J Cole and White YY round off the top 10. We're just waiting for Bree to come round and finish the lap, and he might be going for a fastest lap in this race. But in the end, Legend wins the race from 20th on the grid. What a race from him.
What a race from him indeed. Back-to-back race wins from him, and now he is only 29 points behind Yono, I believe. So
wow.
He's definitely he definitely has the chance to for a title fight between him and Yorno. This is it's a good showing from Legende in his in his first 2 races, winning both of them, and especially in this race, just such a chaotic race. Coming out on top must be incredible.
Yeah, and he avoided all the carnage. Him and Harry Noir were the only ones to do so. They were the only ones to keep out of all the trouble, keep it clean throughout the entire race, and the only ones to pull off a one-stop strategy in the end. And it worked for them. They get 1st and 2nd, do both of those drivers. So great stuff from them. That from the back of the grid, though, that is what a drive from Legend to get to the front of the field and avoid all the carnage. Let's run you through the final order then. It is Legend that wins from 20th on the grid ahead of Harry Noir in 2nd from 14th on the grid. Good stuff from the Alfa Romeo man ahead of Total Peace in 3rd, but he is likely going to be under investigation for a number of illegal overtakes in that race. Mark in 4th in the Renault ahead of Stumpy in 5th. Good race from him, good showing. Likely to see that 5-second time penalty of his removed as well, so he might steal a podium out of this in the end. Eduk is 6th in the Ferrari ahead of J Luke in 7th. His best showing of the season so far in the Williams. What could have been for him though if he hadn't picked up damage at the end of that race. B Morgan in 8th ahead of J Cole 9th. He can't capitalise on Yorno's mistakes today. White YY 10th, XL Bree 11th. They were the only finishers. Yorno in 12th. He might actually get 1 point because he made it past the 75% race distance. So we'll have to wait and see if he does pick up 1 point from there. Paul is the first of our non-scorers in 13th ahead of TDB. These guys all did not finish the race in the end, so Yorno, Paul, TDB, Maurice, Damon, Ollie, Thor, Caesar and Denny Boy all retired from a very, very chaotic Baku Grand Prix.
It's just an incredible, maybe probably not racing-wise the best race we've seen out here in D3, but entertainment-wise it is just all over the place. You could not predict what was going to happen here. 4 safety cars, 1 virtual safety car, and it's just, yeah, Legende coming out on top from starting P20. That is just incredible.
Just goes to show avoiding all the carnage is the best way to win a race at Baku. You may be the fastest, but doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get to the end of the race. And maybe 3 of the people that we thought were going to win that race in Yorno, Maurice and Paul all thought had their opportunity to win the race, all did not finish in the end. So that just goes to show how it is. But I think we can probably agree that we'd say that Legend is probably our driver of the day today.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, that's just an incredible race from him.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. And shout out to Harry Noir as well. Good stuff from him to get to the end of the race cleanly on the 1 stop and get 2nd place as well, win the Alfa Romeo. Good stuff from him. But that is where we're going to finish off the stream today, guys. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for sticking with us through that race. I imagine for some people that might have been a bit difficult to watch, but it was pretty entertaining. I wouldn't have wanted to be in the race myself, but it was very entertaining in the end. So tune in to the Division into the Division 2 and 4 races happening right now. Division 2 and 5, sorry, races that will be happening right now as well. So tune into those, and tune in next week as well for Formula 2 on Tuesday, and the next race at Canada on Saturday from 6:40 p.m. But from myself and Dylan, it is goodbye.